Today, we're going to talk about fears. Hey lovely, welcome back to my channel that teaches you how to know, trust, love, and heal yourself and raise your vibration. So I want to talk about fears today because it's coming up with clients in the Be Light community, so it's clearly begging for a voice. So everyone has fears, right? We all have them. And fears represent lifetimes, this lifetime and parallel lives. The patterning within those, the stories within those, that is imprinted within the ego, within the mind, within the subconscious, that are begging to be addressed. Your soul wants you to see them, acknowledge them, learn from them. And where fears are concerned, it's recognizing just how powerful you really are and how in control you can really be of your life. You have the ability to transcend fear. You can do it. Everyone can do it. So some fears are really easy to see. Others lie deep, lower down in the psyche, down in the energetic body, just waiting for the opportunity or the trigger to reveal themselves. Once you reveal them, it's the signal to go ahead and have a look at what is going on. Fears come up when you communicate with people and when you communicate with the outside world. So I asked the Dominion to give me an analogy, to give us something that kind of detaches us from the emotion for a moment, the emotion of fear, and gives us some breathing space for a little bit of perspective. And whenever they give me an analogy, it's always so on point. I tuned in and asked them to show us something about fear. They showed me a 400-meter hurdle course. And I'm like, initially I'm like, where is this going? Say you're running a hurdle race. There's a starting point of the race. That race, once you get to the end of it and complete it, is like accomplishing a goal. It's like achieving a result, an outcome that you set out to achieve when you first started the race. And every so often along the 400-meter track, you've got hurdles. Some of those hurdles are taller, larger, more prominent. Those hurdles represent fears that are on repeat. They keep coming up. They've built their foundations and they just build every time they come up into your world. It's like build, 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 build. And there is the hurdle. And then as you have a look around the rest of the track, there are smaller hurdles. Those smaller hurdles are there, they're very present there, but they're not quite so easy to see. They might be smaller, they might be like slightly transparent, and they may be like the bigger, more prominent hurdles in the way, so you can't quite see them. So this is representing the fears that we bury deeply. And these are the ones that are ancient, we keep coming back to earth, or we have the privilege of coming back to earth to revisit these fears, to move them on, to transcend from them, to overcome them. And of course, we only ever really able to overcome fears by just doing the very thing that we have a fear around. Anyway, so these are representing these slightly almost dissolvable into the distance or behind the bigger fears are the ones that aren't so easy to see, and they require you to sort of hurdle over the really prominent active ones that keep coming up: fear of failure, all of those things. Fear of failure, fear of spiders, fear of heights, fear of not being enough. The ones that just seem to play on repeat are calling to be healed first, to be cleared first. And this is how energy is laid down in the body. Fears are just energy. And so once you've moved those, it's much easier to see the ones that are smaller. The smaller ones often represent the fears that are going to, once overcome, create this seismic transformational change. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I've got it now. I can really see it. And even though, you're standing at the beginning of the race and you're looking at, I don't even know how many hurdles appear in a 400-meter race, but this context makes so much sense. And so you're standing at the precipice on the front line, and your adrenaline's going, and you're thinking, right, I've got this project going, and I know as I start it, I know that there are fears that are about to come up, just even thinking about it. And so as I start the race, I'm going to systematically approach every hurdle, and there's no way of completing the course within the rules without, leaping over the hurdle. And I just thought that this analogy was bloody brilliant, absolutely brilliant. See how that lands for you, just noticing that, but just as you come through the finish line, what is that? We've all done a race before. There's generally a sense of accomplishment, either relief that we've actually finished the race, or accomplishment because we've, done our personal best, or we just made it across the line, or we got first prize, whatever. And when that accomplishment happens, the soul literally jumps up and down. It's like, yes. And it sends a signal to the universe. Look, you've been able to do this. You've accomplished that goal. You've overcome those fears. And when you think about hurdles, you could be a master at hurdling, right? But every time you stand on that start line and you start the race, there's still some trepidation. There's still some nervousness in the body. There's still the adrenaline running. And it kind of illustrates really that, you can accomplish and overcome and learn from a lot of fears. But, and this is certainly my experience and what I see in clients as well, it's like, does those fears ever 100% disappear? Because it's like anything. It's like doing a bungee jump, right? And you'll never find me doing a bungee jump because heights are just not my thing. And I'm not willing to put myself in that place of fear. It's just, I'm not going there. However, if you bungee jump for the first time, you get this huge adrenaline rush, and then, you might want to go and do it again straight away. But if you leave it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, potential is that when you go back and you redo it again, you're still going to have that sort of fear and anxiety coming up, or some form of it, butterflies in the stomach and whatever. And I'm just really grateful to the Dominion for sharing that analogy, because it just adds some context. It's, yes, we might work to fight to accomplish and overcome a fear, jump over that hurdle. But we're human beings. We're here on earth to notice our fears and to embrace them in any which way we can. And when you hurdle, you have to embrace every hurdle, right? Even if you don't want to jump the last one, it's like, I'm done with this hurdling, but I've still got to do the next one. So I love the hurdle analogy. Thank you for that. So in the Be Light community this week, I'll put a link to how to become a patron of that, if you're at all interested in delving a bit deeper on this topic. But we were talking about our fears, and the fear of failure came up, which, you know, we have fear of failures. Many of us have, most of us perhaps have a fear of some kind of failure. But we live in this dualistic environment. And so when we think about having a fear of failure, say, you know, the fear of failure is around really being seen, being visible, being public, and sharing yourself, expressing yourself, public speaking, being on video, whatever it is. And there's that fear of failure, which makes sense. It's like a lot of us can have that. And I know certainly I've moved through the fear of being seen in my time. But where we have this duality, we can notice where we have the fear of failure, but we also have the opposite end of the spectrum, which is, for example, fear of success. And so having a look at what fears you currently have and then looking at the opposite will give you a lot more insights and information as to the because, you know, this is the why I fear this failure. If you fear public speaking for the fear of failing, whatever failure looks like, I'm going to be laughed at, people are going to think I'm stupid, everyone's staring at me, I'm going to go red. And then go, what's the opposite to failure? Success. What is my fear of success? My fear of success is, well, if this is actually successful, I public speak, I put myself out there, whatever, and I'm successful, what does that mean? Does that then mean that I look like I might be showing off? Does it mean that people might get uncomfortable because I'm sharing and it makes them uncomfortable because they recognize in themselves the trigger about, I should be shining my light and showing up and showing myself? And that success might create some kind of separation and division because it's like, I'm not like her anymore, I'm not like him anymore, we're not part of the same team, because you kind of just up-leveled by overcoming your fears. You know, this is a fear of success can often come from childhood, where, you know, the narrative was to, you know, not stick your head above the parapet, to stay in your lane, because, you know, we're the kind of family that doesn't have money. And so we live in this environment and we have this level of job and we have this level of income and we have this house. So if you're successful, you're not going to be like us anymore. And that creates a real energy in the atmosphere. And it's almost like ingrained when you're younger. It's like, you know, I've actually been taught through observations from family that it's not a good thing to be successful. So it's worth having a look at either side of the spectrum, the perspective, when you lean into your fears. So grab a notepad, grab a pen, and feel into what your current fears are at the moment. We're going to do a little exercise. You can write this down, you can think of it in your head. Answer this question. My current fear is. So for me, my current fear is a fear of failure, for example. So write it down. Just pick one fear, because you can duplicate this exercise with other fears. My current fear is the fear of failure. Next question. My fear of failure is because. Finish the sentence. For example, my fear of failure, I have a fear of failure because I'm worried that people will judge me. Awesome. Third question. I fear that people will judge me because I don't want to look bad or feel bad or feel a sense of discomfort in that. So can you see you've got 3 questions where you're looking at the surface level of fear and you're driving down 2 layers because, the why, because, and then when you get the answer, take that answer and go why and answer it because. You're getting a bit deeper into discovering a bit more about the levels of and the scenarios around why you're feeling the fear. So these are 3 very basic levels that will help you to open up. Yeah, okay. So I'm getting, they want me to bring through a little bit of light language to clear fear with you. So let's close the eyes and just feel into the body. Relax into the body wherever you are, just letting your body go. Taking a deep inhale and exhaling. And I'm going to bring through some light language that's going to speak straight to this current fear that you have. The objective, the intention of this is to release the fear. But as you release the fear, to give you, because this is going to connect on a soul level, it's going to connect to your energetic self in ways that your brain can't really, it's not geared up to receive. So it's going to, as you receive this, just absorb it into your body, just receive it. You're going to get guidance, information coming through from your intuition, either in your sleep as well, wherever, to help support your growing through your fear. So just dropping into the heart and taking a deep breath and really allowing yourself to be present in your heart. And I'm going to bring through some light language to speak to your fear. Sana so kana so shanana kosana poka panasana kososo kodoso kana markana sana kana kataka sinikoto manakana sana koso koroko manakana sana ka ipadaka itada ita markana so kodotoko manaketi kanakiki bakiri sakaloko shokoto koko takata shokoko. Release the fear, release the fear, release the fear. Bilasko nos toko sakata pakana soko shoko manakana ika anaka soko palakeki kite binasana kosana kutikina nakata kosakata kata. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Just allow it into your body. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Just allow it in. Breathe it in. Let your heart absorb these fears. You might actually notice, if you haven't already, when fears come up, they go boom. It's like somebody's shocked your heart. Come straight into the heart space. It's not always pleasant, but that's kind of what happens. Yeah, so just allowing that language to come through. Breathe it in. Just feel that moving around the chest. And then feel into how you feel now. Answer those questions again. My fear is. I fear this fear because. And because I feel this fear is because. And see what else comes through. And yeah. Do it. Do the thing. Do the thing that is the most fearful to you, that's coming through for you right now. The way to transcend is in the doing. And it's so important to be shining your light right now. And doing it from a place of love and deep in the heart. Being totally you, individually you. Embracing those fears and learning from those fears. So I hope you enjoyed that. I never know what's going to come through, but that's channeling for you. That is channeling for you. All right. So if you're interested in joining and being a patron of the Be Light community, check it out in the link below. And if you love this video, you want to see more, like, subscribe, hit the notifications button, leave me a comment below, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. I'll see you soon.